United States, where after the highly anticipated meeting between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, Washington is now set to host Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky and European leaders for talks on a peace deal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will meet Donald Trump in the Oval Office later today, followed by a larger session in the White House with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte, and the leaders of Britain, France, Germany, Italy, and Finland. Ahead of his meeting with Trump, Zelensky said he shared a strong desire to end the Ukraine war quickly and reliably. He stressed that Ukrainians are fighting for their land and for their independence, and that Russia must end the war that it started. He added that he hoped the joint strength of America and Europe would compel Russia into a real peace. Now the White House summit comes just 2 days after Trump hosted Vladimir Putin in Alaska, a meeting that did not produce a ceasefire, but led to discussions about possible security guarantees for Ukraine. European leaders and Zelensky were left out of the Alaska meeting, and Trump has since appeared to have shifted to back Moscow's position that a ceasefire is not required before final peace talks. On Sunday, the US president took to social media, putting the onus on Zelensky to make concessions and declaring that Crimea, annexed by Russia in 2014, would not return to Ukraine, and that NATO membership was also off the table. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio also said on Sunday that a ceasefire was still possible, but that the best way to end the conflict was through a full peace deal.
The only way to finalize a peace agreement is you have to have both sides agree to it and both sides of it involved. How many times have we heard from the Ukrainians and from others, there is nothing about Ukraine without Ukraine? Well, Ukraine wasn't at the meeting, but this was a very important meeting. Now, ultimately, if there isn't a peace agreement, if there isn't an end to this war, the president's been clear there are going to be consequences, but we're trying to avoid that.
For now, Russia reportedly demands Ukrainian withdrawal from the Kherson, Luhansk, Zaporizhia and Donetsk regions that Moscow claimed to annex in 2022. It also wants Ukraine to halt its military mobilization and to abandon its NATO ambitions. But Kyiv has rejected such terms, saying they would force it to cede the remainder of Donetsk, where its troops hold strong defensive positions. It has repeatedly asked security guarantees and long-term defense support, and Zelensky has insisted that no peace deal can legitimize occupation. European leaders have backed Kyiv's position, warning that any pressure on Ukraine to cede territory would only amount to capitulation.
Ukraine must be able to uphold its sovereignty and its territorial integrity. There can be no limitations on Ukrainian armed forces, be it cooperation with or other third countries or assistance from other third countries, no limitations for the Ukrainian armed forces. As I've often said, Ukraine must become a steel porcupine, undigestible for potential invaders. With regards to any territorial questions in Ukraine, our position is clear. International borders cannot be changed by force.
Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's special envoy to Russia, said in an interview that the US and European countries could offer NATO-like security guarantees for Ukraine outside of the organization as part of a peace deal with Russia. But away from the diplomatic front, the war has continued. A Russian air attack on a residential area in Kharkiv overnight killed 3 people, including a toddler, and injured 19 others. The authorities have said that the number of the injured from the Kharkiv attack was likely to increase. So as Washington prepares to host President Zelensky alongside European leaders, all eyes will be on whether these talks can deliver a roadmap toward ending the conflict or simply underscore the deep divisions that remain.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
Stands at $36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Sekali radikali.
Japanese,
4兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select a language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. Firstpost.